Welcome to a new episode of Drones and Prints. We show how to design and build perfect freestyle drones using a standard 3D printer. Today it is all about crash. How should a drone be designed and printed to keep damage low? Are you tired of paying for broken cameras, antennas and ripped off GPS modules? Then this might be interesting for you. We will do another frame upgrade, deliver free STL downloads and explore a super cool new spot. With our drone, forget paying for frame parts or waiting around for them. If you're ready for new ideas, stay with us. We are very proud to let you know the frame is now available at dronesandprints.com. We've put a huge amount of time and energy into this project. Welcome to the new FPV universe of filaments, colors and a little more freedom and independence. So, get your DP5 frame now! At the beginning of our project and in episode 1, we set some targets for our new 3D printed frame. Perfect flight performance, low weight, low cost and independence from manufacturers. Today is about crash, about the strength of our frame, protecting the electronic components and durability. And you will be surprised how quickly we can repair a crashed frame after another upgrade. The strength, stiffness and durability of our 3D printed frame comes from its design, the material, the internal structure and the print settings. But the printing method also plays a huge role, meaning horizontal versus vertical printing. Just ask yourself, why is it so much easier to pull off a piece of tape that is stuck to a table by lifting it straight up than by pulling it flat along the surface? And what does that have to do with 3D printing? From part 1, we know that high dynamic forces act on the frame, especially on the drone's arms. Heavy force on the arms happens, for example, during a punch-out. The motors pull the drone upward. Because of the leverage, the horizontal bending stress is highest near the drone's body. The top of the arm gets compressed, the bottom gets stretched. Here's another view of that bending force on our arm profile. With a horizontally printed part, the stress runs parallel along the filament layers. The load is spread over a wide area and the structure handles it very well. It's like the tape. You can't pull it off when you pull horizontally. The stress runs flat and parallel to the glued surface. With a vertically printed part, the same stress runs 90 degrees to the filament layers. At the bottom, where the material gets stretched, the layers get pulled apart. The load no longer runs flat and parallel. It runs in a line. Under high load, the structure will break early. When the load is in a line and 90 degrees to the table's surface, our piece of tape also comes off easily. The difference in strength is massive and it can be 70 to 80%. The same thing or even more extreme happens with torsion. The dynamic spinning of the propellers creates high twisting forces on the drone's arms. With a horizontal print, the shear stress is absorbed flat across the filament layers. But with a vertical print, the individual layers twist against each other like a screw, breaking the filament layers apart. Okay, now we know why we only print our frame cross horizontally. Since strength is a requirement for high durability in our case, let's test what our PETG-CF frame can handle. When I fly, I try to practice new tricks, try new things out, and therefore crash a lot. In this accident with my Apex Evo 5, parts of the frame broke, the antenna mount, a motor, the receiver and the DJI-04 camera with filter had to be replaced because they weren't protected well. Pretty expensive. By the way, the drone is no longer being manufactured and there are no spare parts available for the frame anymore. Next frame crash will be the end of the drone. And in this crash with my iFlight Nazgul, not only an arm and the side panel broke, but also the rear antenna and the fairly expensive Foxeer T-Rex camera, because it's barely protected and didn't survive the frontal impact. After these and other crashes, I lost a GPS module on the rear of my smaller freestyle drones, replaced the VTX, some flight controllers, an ESC and cameras. The electronics of those two drones definitely have a quality problem, but the relative stiffness of smaller carbon fiber frames is also very high. A 3.6-inch frame bends less and absorbs less crash energy than a 5-inch frame. This is another aspect of a frame design. By now, I would rather prefer that the frame breaks before the components get damaged. It's like in a car. If the body of a car does not deform in a crash to absorb energy, the passengers will die. In most FPV drones, the flight camera is poorly protected in a crash. It's typically sandwiched between two plates with no damping or protective housing. Crash forces transfer directly to the case, to the lens, or to the fragile sensor cable. The rear end of a freestyle drone is definitely a no-mount zone. When practicing freestyle moves that involve backwards flight, it happens that you crash backwards into the object you were trying to fly through. Components mounted on the rear regularly break in crashes. Some drones are even tail-heavy, like the well-known iFlight Nazgul. When it falls on its tail. I really don't understand. Almost all consumer freestyle drones, and some of them are really expensive, follow the same questionable design. Just as a side note, while creating this episode, my buddy crashed his Exiflying Manta and broke an arm. Afterwards, it turned out that this drone has also been discontinued and spare parts are either sold out or the remaining stock is being sold at a very high price. Now my buddy is convinced to switch from a carbon fiber frame to a 3D printed frame. Unlike the car industry, we don't have a crash test rig for drones, something that allows us to accurately set and repeat parameters. In real life, every crash is different, so durability and energy absorption are very hard to measure. On top of that, we work with different materials, and so far, we only have experience with PETG-CF. In more than 30 test flights so far, our printed frame has survived all lighter and medium crashes without any problems, which can happen when you are flying standard freestyle. For example, hard landings, falls onto a field, crashes into bushes and trees, finally, this one was too hard. Crash analysis shows the frame cross needs to be replaced, the mount for the VTX antenna needs to be changed and improved, and the well-protected camera is without a scratch. In our first version of the frame, the arm cross, the bottom plate and the flight stack are all connected with 4 screws. This makes assembly easy, but when you loosen the 4 screws to replace the frame cross, the electronics come loose too. It is possible and actually not a problem, but we can do it better. For our repairability upgrade, we bought new filament, adjusted our bottom plate and frame, and printed a new set of parts. We print the bottom plate at 45 degrees, which is fine in this case because only low forces act on the bottom plate during flight. The goal is to separate the mounting of the flight stack from the mounting of the arm cross with the bottom plate. To do this, we designed 4 small pockets on the underside of the bottom plate. We slide an M3 nut into each pocket, no need for press nuts. M3 nuts are already in our parts bin and are easy to find anywhere. Now we mount the stack screws. The bottom plate and frame cross can now be mounted and later swapped out easily, without affecting the electronics. In our first design, the 4 holes were located where the highest forces and stresses act on the frame, close to the edges and along the long axis of the arms. Stresses don't like holes, screws or sharp corners. You can see this clearly in our example. I broke this frame for episode 2 and the brake runs exactly through the 2 mounting holes. With our new mounting design, we reduced the number of holes in the critical stress area from 2 to 1 per side and increased the distance to the edge. This significantly improves the brake resistance in that area. You can clearly see the difference between before and after. So with our new design, we actually achieved 2 things: a repairability upgrade and, at the same time, a durability upgrade for our drone. Before the next test flight, we will check whether our components are well protected. The camera is perfectly protected by the elastic TPU mount. Only a hard, sharp object hitting it directly from the front could damage the camera. The GoPro mount is integrated and part of the printed camera mount. Unlike with some other drones, the GoPro cannot rip off in a crash. The ELRS antenna is mounted in a safe spot and we only mount maybe a second antenna at the rear if we are using a diversity receiver. Today, we stay on the safe side. The VTX antenna holder has been shortened. The antenna head is below the battery and sits deeper inside the frame. The rear end of the drone is clean. No components stick out, so nothing can get ripped off. And we will also find a secure solution for installing a GPS module in the future. With our new frame upgrade, the motor wires are now protected too. Easy to install and remove. Another 3D printed feature that carbon fiber drones can only dream of. There's a cutout in the frame for the balance plug. This has worked great in all test flights. Finally a good solution for this topic. The battery cable length is just right. No extra cable flopping around. Now there's one thing left, a protection for our battery, designed in CAD and printed in TPU 95. There are different versions, which you now can download for free as STL files from our website dronesandprints.com. Since destroying forces usually come from the front or from above, we fly the light version, which weighs only 10 grams. Let's go for the next test flight. Our drone mastered the new spot, the arena, perfectly. Nevertheless, we are now checking how long it would take to replace the arm cross after a crash. That's it for today, but there will be so many exciting topics to come. We've only just begun. Thanks for your feedback and thanks for your likes. I will try again to answer every message. What's next? Our drone only flies with PETG-CF? Surely not. Get ready to be surprised. This was just the beginning, and later on we are going for speed. Let's see if we can set a new record. Life is too short for slow drones. Stay tuned, there's a lot more to come.